What are the pros and the cons of living in Flower Mound, Texas? That's one of the most common questions that we get from clients that are considering moving into the area. So if you're thinking about moving to Flower Mound or simply want to learn more about the city, this is a video for you. And please make sure to stay to the end because some of the cons will not only surprise you, but they can actually cost you money. And if we're just meeting, my name is Jaime Resendez. Welcome to the DFW Homeowner YouTube channel, where you'll find real estate information that nobody else is sharing with you. Flower Mound, Texas is located towards the northern part of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. It's about a 45-minute drive to downtown Fort Worth and about a 50-minute drive to downtown Dallas. Now, if you're trying to get to the international airport, give yourself about 20 minutes. All right, so let's talk about pro number one, and that's the schools. The schools in Flower Mound consistently rank higher than many of the surrounding cities. Now, here's the thing. Flower Mound, the city, is in multiple ISDs. You have Argyle, Denton, Louisville, and Northwest ISD. So just be aware that some elementary schools, middle schools, or a high school might be in a certain ISD versus another. Now, I know it's a little bit complicated, but it really does depend on where you end up purchasing in Flower Mound. But the commonality is that the ISDs, at least in the Flower Mound city limits, are incredible. So I'm going to link a lot of helpful resources down in the description for you to check out. Another benefit to living in Flower Mound are the things to do. You have plenty of restaurants to get to, you have plenty of events that the city itself puts on, you have plenty of parks, and you have plenty of recreation. And another huge selling point for Flower Mound is that you're neighboring Lake Grapevine. So at the end of the day, you have plenty of opportunities to get out of the house and enjoy the outdoors, or just get out of the house and socialize. It really gives you the opportunity to create a close-knit community that you can continue to build from. The city itself really lends itself for you to create your own community and grow it locally. Now, something else that you'll really appreciate about Flower Mound is its strong economy. Now, here's where I have to be very careful. The unemployment is insanely low, but it's not necessarily because Flower Mound actually created those jobs, because most of the Flower Mound residents actually commute to work. They don't live and work in the same area. Which makes sense. Flower Mound originally grew as a suburb before it got covered up by all the other cities to where now it's part of a mega city known as the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. But regardless, you still have an insanely high economy. And it just so happens that Flower Mound happens to be one of the more safer cities in the DFW Metroplex. And by the way, if you're finding value in this video, let me know that you're here by commenting Flower Mound down in the comment section, because now we need to talk about some of the downsides to Flower Mound. And the first one that always comes up whenever we're doing buyer discovery calls with our clients is the cost of living. Real estate prices in Flower Mound are on the higher end. And this isn't just compared to the surrounding cities, it's across the entire Metroplex. Flower Mound is a destination city to live in for most people. So you are going to be looking at incredible real estate, but you're also going to be looking at a higher price point, which essentially makes it unaffordable for a lot of the folks that want to live in Flower Mound. So for many of our clients that wish to be in a similar location to Flower Mound, but may not have the Flower Mound budget, we end up placing in Louisville. Now, another downside of Flower Mound is one that goes unnoticed until you live in Flower Mound, and that's the traffic. Now, I'm not talking about just traffic for the sake of there being bumper to bumper traffic. That does exist, but that's not really my gripe here. Flower Mound doesn't have direct access, at least in a meaningful way, to key highways, which means it's going to take you a little bit of a commute just to get to the highway, so then you can battle the traffic to get to where you're going. Now, again, I bring this up because it can get frustrating. Then generally you're looking at a stoplight that doesn't last that long, because most of those stoplights are just there to let a few cars pass every once in a while. They prioritize larger roads. Then you're looking at multiple stoplights just to get to the highway. Now, if it sounds like I'm bitter towards this traffic situation, it's probably because I am. Now, another downside of living in Flower Mound is the extreme weather. Flower Mound's going to have some of the most extreme weather in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Now, in reality, anything north of Grapevine Lake is going to be challenging. Flower Mound, Argyle, Corinth, especially Denton, you are going to experience a good amount of wind and a good amount of hail damage. So just bake that into the cake. There's really nothing that you can do about it. Just deal with it. And I say this in the most sincere way. I used to live in Denton, and I also used to work in Denton, and the amount of times that I've got my car hailed on is more than I would care for. Now, another thing I have to include here in the cons, even though it's not going to affect a ton of people, I would imagine, is the lack of nightlife. There just isn't any. The city's going to shut down at around 10 p.m. If you are looking for that nightlife, you're just going to have to go down the road to Dallas. Now, I say that this won't necessarily affect your decision or be a downside for you, given that if you're looking at Flower Mound, you're typically looking for something else other than a nightlife. Because again, Flower Mound was built as a suburb, and you don't necessarily have the expectation of a nightlife in a suburb. Now, overall, the reason that so many of our clients end up going with Flower Mound over any other city is because of the schools, the things to do, the parks and recreation, just the quality of life that they get to enjoy in Flower Mound. And that's why we at the DFW Homeowner YouTube channel give Flower Mound a 4.4 out of 5. So if Flower Mound has piqued your interest and you want to learn more about the city all the way back to when it was founded, check out this video right here. Or if you're ready to check out some of the real estate in Flower Mound, check out our list of preferred homes linked down in the description.